What's up everyone? So most of you guys know that I spent most of 2019 traveling, and over the course of a year I actually made a lot of videos and haven't really had the opportunity to share everything with everyone. Now since I've got some time on hands, I thought I might share with you guys some experiences that I had last year. So starting from the very first experience, I flew from Taiwan into India by Malaysia, and in India I spent close to 2 months there. It was a long time, yeah. And yeah, for a good half of it I was doing volunteering project. I was teaching English up in a community up in the Himalayas, in a little town, if you can call it a town, called Barkot. Specifically the area that I was volunteering at was called Karadi, which is another hour or so away from Barkot, so we're going even higher up the mountains. Very, very rural area. The school relies on the government's funding, so it's not an NGO sponsored, because for the most part if you have an NGO sponsored school, usually these schools get fundings from international organizations and they actually get by. Whereas this particular school that I volunteer at is a government school, so funding really comes to the particular school. Basically today I just want to make a quick video to show you guys what I got up to, and basically show you what I would do in a day, starting from the commute going into school, and then what happens at the school, and then what happens after school. Yeah, so check it out. So the first thing in the morning, we always go to the breakfast place in town, in Barkot. Basically we'll eat the same thing every morning, and it's this pancake that has got some sort of potato stuffing inside. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really tasty, and you would dip it in some chutney, and which is like, I don't know, like a paste or some sauces of some sort, and then some curd, which is like a yogurt, and then we'll have a cup of chai, Indian masala chai, before we go to school. So the next part is my favorite, but also my least favorite part of the day. It's the commute. Sometimes we walk, sometimes we take the taxi in. The taxi is nothing like what you would think. It's actually a regular 7-seater car, but stuffed with about 17 people inside. I have had record of sitting up to 21 people. That was the record. So you can imagine everybody is like stuffed in a little car and we're driving through the mountains, so it's not the most comfortable, which is why some days we opt to walk, but walking takes many hours. Sometimes if we choose to walk and we get tired, then we might hitch a ride from a truck that's heading the same way, going up the mountains. Yeah, you can see in the video here. It's really beautiful in the mountains, but the roads aren't very, very nice, so it's very bumpy, and you can see it's really, really muddy on this particular day because there's been some heavy raining the night before. Hello, namaste. For me it was bearable because I knew I wasn't going to be here for long term. But can you imagine some of the students from the school actually have to take this road every day to go to school by foot, and it's actually quite dangerous because there's often rocks and that kind of stuff sliding down. The truck dropped us off just a kilometer or two before the school, so we walked the rest of it. You can see this is now entering the community. It's called Karadi. Even though it can be really tiring to go to school every morning, it's totally worth it when you see the children. And here we're entering the town of Karadi. This part is my absolute favorite part of the day. In the morning, the school have a quick assembly, and all the students, they gather together in rows like this, and they do like a roll call. And it's funny because it's not your normal roll call. They actually sing and practice English
and they recite the alphabets from A to Z. After the alphabet, they will spell out a few words. For example, like monkey, they will say MONKEY, monkey, and they'll all do it together. It's super cute. Here you can listen to what they do on a regular basis. It's really cute because the younger one who's leading the call sometimes gets it wrong, so the elder student would correct her. They are super cute, aren't they? But you can't help to notice that the children are actually screaming on top of their lungs in order for the rest of the school to hear them. So later on the project, we actually decided to buy them an amplifier. It costed somewhere about like $150, but it was the best thing that we did for them because they no longer need to yell, they can hear each other just by talking normally. And after the roll call, the day starts. So usually in the day I would move around between different classes. In this particular case, I'm actually spending time with the elder student. We're just doing some reading. I brought some books from Australia and we're just going through and testing their reading skills and see if they can actually understand what the book is saying. And this particular book that we're reading is The Lion King. Before I got to India, I was under the impression that most of the children would speak a decent level of English, but actually to my surprise, the younger ones especially, they are not very good in English and therefore they struggle a lot. So right now I am reading them just a very simple book that I brought from Australia. I think I was reading Peppa Pig or something, and they were really interested. It's really funny because in the book it talks about Peppa and the family going to swimming, and I try to explain what swimming is to them, but they don't seem to understand because I guess, being so secluded from the rest of the world and also not having access to the sea, I feel like they've never actually swam before, and therefore it actually took a while for them to understand the concept of swimming in the water. This entire experience made me realize how lucky we are to live in Australia. From the healthcare system to our education system to career opportunity, the list goes on. How easy it is for us to forget all that we have and take it all for granted. What else have I got to complain about? And here I was trying to explain to them what they would find in the ocean or in the water. We talked about sharks, we talked about crocodile and so on and so, but it's all very foreign to them. They've never seen such a thing. So when I actually pulled up a picture from my phone to show them what a crocodile was, they were like, wow, what's this? Looks like a dinosaur.
Pepper and George got ready for bed. They slept on an airbed in Kylie and Joey's room. See, that's Kylie and Joey the bear sleeping together. And this one is Peppa Pig, George, and they're sleeping on a bed in their room. I'm glad we came to Australia, said Peppa. There's so much to do. So
To keep the day interesting for the children, sometimes we might play a game in the afternoon. In this particular case, we played Who Am I? It's a foreign game to them. They've never played it before. So it took a while for us to explain the concept. But I think they were just kind of cheating on us because they were somehow getting it right after like 2 questions all the time.
Okay, and then your turn.
Lunchtime was always really fun with the kids, and this particular day we took out the board game Twister and we showed them how to play Twister, and they were having a blast. School ends in early afternoon, so the children again they get together in a quick assembly, form their lines, and we say our goodbyes. And after all the children leave, sometimes I might tag along with some kids and go home with them just to walk them home. And in this video here you see his name is Abdul Samabad, and he lives quite close to the school, so I walked him home, and you can see this is what he has to climb to go back home. It's no surprise, he does this every day, but it's like a hill, and his house is located just on top of the hill. But this little guy is only, I think, like 5 or 6 years old, so he's still really young. But yeah, every day he has to trek all these mountain roads to go home, so it's extremely difficult, the life that they have. And remember what I said about the commute to and from school? So here it is. In this particular case, I was stuck in a car with 20 people. There was even a guy on my lap. Nothing out of the ordinary. This is how it works in the mountains of India. Don't get me wrong, the first ride or two was extremely scary. You can see the road's basically blocked off by trucks, and you have traffic coming from both directions, so we're sharing the same road, and somehow they always make it fit. I don't know how to do it, but they do. It's amazing. Okay, well that's it for today. If you liked it or have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Bye bye.